All right, so now that I've read all of the revisions, I think I finally understand what's going on here, and it's pretty cool, actually. I mean, it's unfortunate, of course, that we no longer have the Millennium Emperor Nova and super broken, Brilliant Eagle mode Phoenix Man. All of that stuff is no longer canon, but he serves such a greater purpose now. I'll definitely say that because that is essentially what's going on here, in my opinion. I think that's what one is doing here. I speculated that in my 99 review that I did earlier, but now I'm certain that he took Phoenix Man and he was like, you know what, I'm going to make way better use of this character. And instead of just having him like be this cool display of feats and abilities and stuff, and also a notch on Child Emperor's tree or whatever, so that he has that under his belt because Child Emperor was kind of lacking feats in the webcomic. So the manga, of course, is going to bolster that with him going against Phoenix Man here, but he's kind of killing two birds with one stone, but at the same time taking away from both at the same time. So it's both good and bad, in my opinion. And there's only so much that I can really say here about the significance of Phoenix Man in these revisions, because it's all webcomic stuff that this is impacting. So I'll just leave it at that because, I don't want to spoil you guys. But let's go to his penguin mode because it's hilarious. And also, goes back into the broken versatility of Phoenix Man's abilities. He could just become this and he's still pretty powerful. He literally is beam clashing with Brave Giant. What is going... Like when Saitama is talking to Waganma, they're just beam clashing, no big deal, and then they just cut away from it. They don't even mention it. They just show the panel. This is such an interesting chapter. I'll say that much. But and then we come to the Penguin Phoenix Man going into Child Emperor's mind again. And this is what I was talking about. This right here, this sequence, this couple pages where he's messing with Child Emperor and he's getting the better of him, in the mental exchanges here for the first time. I think this is one of the most important parts of the revisions. This is what I was talking about. This is setting up stuff. But aside from that, in this Genjutsu world psychic space thing, another huge answer to a question that I've had for so long has been answered, kind of, and that's how is Saitama going to deal with this type of stuff, like this, I don't know, ethereal, fourth dimensional, whatever is going on with Phoenix Man here, this world that he says this is a spiritual space. So whatever, another dimension, whatever, it's like, how would Saitama interact with those type of abilities and stuff like that? I get asked this all the time in like my Patreon Q&As, and it's like I don't have an answer because like we haven't seen it yet. And I was like wondering like, it's likely that he could probably brute force through that type of stuff. Like, for example, like what we saw when Homus Emperor encountered God back in chapter 113, like pretty much similar to what we're seeing between Phoenix Man and Child Emperor here. They're kind of doing that mind link thing. And it's like, okay, so this really doesn't affect Saitama either. He could just brute force through this. It looks like he tore a hole in a dimension or something, like the way that it's cracked. And I was like, okay, so is this like a tangible thing? But then no, after they snap out of, this sequence, they're just back to where they were standing. So they're definitely in like an intangible place here. And still Saitama is so utterly powerful that he can just come and go as he pleases. And this has huge ramifications on the rest of the series. That's all I'm going to say. But then we come back to Phoenix Man going back to his normal mode, coming out of the Penguin stuff. And he reveals that he still has the King Awakening's light, but it is not called that anymore. He just says, "Let there be light." I guess that's like a wink to the original name of it. We see the Subterraneans come back. And they don't really talk too much about them. They call them the indigenous monsters, or the indigenous people that were down there, and that's still the same. I mean, I guess the Subterraneans were still down there, but the whole mural with the Subterranean King and Elder Centipede and all that stuff, that's all gone now. So I assume the original lore of like Orochi or the monsters or the ninjas all coming down there and wiping them out, so they took over the base, that's gone because Phoenix Man says that they killed themselves. It was like a civil war or something that ended in just everyone dying. So, I mean, that makes sense. If there was a society of like monster-esque creatures in this world, I assume it wouldn't last indefinitely. And then we come to Child Emperor's shonen moment when he's like, it's not about the costume you wear. Being a hero comes from the inside. And then he activates the Gigavolt Smash. So that's still a thing. That was from the original. So that's cool that that's still canon. But this being canon also means that the One Punch Man resurrection method is still canonically accurate, because originally, it was the King Awakening's light, or just Phoenix Man's resurrection magic, which he has now that he can use in his just base resurrected form, which he needed his Brilliant Eagle form before to do it. But so you needed that sprinkled on you to bring you into like your zombie state, because that's as far as it's going to bring you. But then you get Gigavolt Smash by Child Emperor, and that just brings you boop back. You're just a human again, and it heals up your scars and everything. You're good to go. And that's what we're seeing here with Hellfire and Gale. They are still brought back because you see them still getting shocked. Like he still kept the old panel from the original one. But we just didn't see them in their zombie forms. Like originally they became zombies just like the Subterraneans, and they attacked Child Emperor as well. Nope, that's gone. So then Child Emperor launches the cockpit at Phoenix Man, and this is pretty cool because we see like the exact moment when he's putting the tickle bug in his costume. Like he doesn't explicitly show it making, the movement, but you see his hand, you see his eyes, and you see, where the opening in the mask is. Pretty cool that we could just, trace our steps back to seeing the moment where this is pretty much Child Emperor winning, but with the assist of Saitama. This is awesome, and I really liked the whole element that Saitama played in this sequence, and I like that one decided to add him here. I assume that after this chapter, he's eventually going to run into Rover all the same, so maybe he's going to stick with them until then. They all run into Rover, and then he's like, you guys go on ahead, I'll take care of Rover myself. And then he can also fully explain to Child Emperor, like, this is the guy that was making noise, because he tells Child Emperor that after Child Emperor suspects him of being a traitor, which makes sense, of course, because why would he know that Saitama isn't? Because he did only tell everybody besides Genos. He doesn't know that King leaked all of the information, everyone, and he doesn't know that Saitama is earnestly down here because of a noise complaint. But anyway, I like Saitama's the assist here when he just pinches back Phoenix Man's arm just a little bit, just to assure that Child Emperor wins. It's kind of like getting a critical assist in a video game or something. Sometimes you just get that hardcore assist that just nails the win for you that maybe you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't get that critical assist. So it's just something like that we can all kind of relate to. But anyway, we come to pretty much the end, and it's like it ends more or less the same way it did before. Phoenix Man is defeated via tickle. But this time, it's not like this brutal ending where Child Emperor just like hacked him up with like a sword and stuff. He just, overloads and reverts himself into Monster Chick Man. But this is significant because it is the introduction of the new disaster level, something we speculated about for a long time now. I thought maybe it was called Dog, but no, it is below Wolf. It exists now. Disaster level below Wolf. So we're going to have to rework this power scale now, everyone, because we're going to have to add another tier to it. And there might be some other characters that we've seen throughout the series that might be able to fit in there. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm always on board with new disaster levels, of course, regardless of how powerful they are or not. But now we have the absolute zero, like in the degrees and temperatures and stuff. This is the absolute zero of the disaster scale. And Phoenix Man has done it. Ironically, he wanted to achieve the top of the power scale, but he went in the exact opposite direction and went to the absolute bottom. Probably the first to do so officially. But anyway, like I said, Hellfire and Gale, they're back to life, and they almost attacked Child Emperor. We almost got to see what would have happened. Like, how would he have dealt with the speed of characters like that? Something we speculated about before, but no. Again, Saitama with the assist, the one punch, two chins at the same, two phases at the same time. Awesome result here. And then it's revealed that Hellfire and Gale are S-class criminals. We didn't know that before. This is new to the retcon or the revision. So they're just, just like Sonic, he's an S-class criminal as well. So this is awesome. So then we have, like I said, the little group together, and then Underdog Man comes back. The last time we saw him, he was fighting G5, like he fused with like two of himself. There was like three of them became the Underdog Cerberus, and then they held off G5. So I guess two of them died against G5, and then there was the original hopefully left, and then he came back. And then, like I said, Saitama is going to be with them until maybe they run into Rover. And also, this will give a different motive for Orochi to go after Saitama, because before that was like the first time that Orochi had met him, but now he's going to be like, I remember you from before. You were that dude that punched my dragons randomly out of nowhere, and he's somehow doing this incognito with nobody noticing it. But yeah, like I was saying, I enjoyed the revisions here. Are they better than the original? No. Are they worse than the original? No. Is the original better? No. Is the original worse? No. So I'm saying it's like a lateral improvement here. It both are great in their own ways, but I think this version overall helps the story's longevity better. You get what I'm saying? So let me know what you think about the revisions to this, and hopefully this is the end. You know, considering these are going to the volumes, I don't think we're going to get any more Child Emperor versus Phoenix Man, unless it's like in the future of the story. But if you like the review, guys, please give it a like. Also have a Patreon if you access to a weekly Q&A, and if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.